Hello, hello. What's going on, my fine peoples?
Hey,
Happy
hey, guys.
Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
Thanks again for joining us on another episode of Beyond the Vowz. I'm one of your gracious hosts, Marcus, and I'm here with my beautiful wife.
LaFlower. Hey, guys. Happy Sunday. Thanks for tuning in. We got an amazing episode or a new series that we're kicking off that we're going to tell you about in just a moment. But before we jump into this thing, y'all, let's like, share, subscribe. I'm about to share to my social media, so I hope that you are doing the same. And guys, this series that we're kicking off, it is going to be so in depth. It's going to be so awesome, and I really pray that we're able to help a lot of people with this series that we're kicking off with, which is called Addiction in the Marriage, right? Or Addiction in Marriage, right? So let me just post this really quick. Hope that you guys, again, are doing the same. Help somebody tonight. Help somebody tonight. It is going to be addiction in marriage. But before we jump into that, how you doing, baby?
I'm doing really good. I'm a little tired. We was out
Seem
today.
tired.
Out there
and at the farm, y'all. We've been at the farm today.
Out there in them cornfields and the hay. Taking rides on tractors and all type of stuff.
Yes, it has been an eventful day, but of course, we're going to always make it back to rock it out with you guys, right? So other than that, how was your week? Your week good?
My week was good. My week
it's your birthday week.
Yeah, it was. You know what I'm saying? I had to turn up a little bit. Got some time with the wife, with the kids. Enjoyed that.
Yes.
Just a very nice, peaceful week. And ending off with a great weekend.
Yes.
And a weekday. I'm sorry, I'm tired as heck right now.
That boy is tired, y'all.
When you're a hustler, you know what I'm saying, you don't have time to sleep. It's grind season for us right now, so we always on the go. I don't have much sleep. I'd be working on maybe 4 or 5 hours of sleep if I do get that, with the baby, with jobs, with,
but that's what we do.
Kids.
We keep pushing, right?
You got to keep pushing too. You got to hustle. The grind is serious. The grind never stops, especially in this household for the boys.
It never stops, guys. But one of the things Marcus and I, even though we pour so much into our kids, into our community, we definitely love pouring into our BTV family because we want to see other people level up. We want to help. And we want to see marriages stick around, right? We want to see people staying married and being able to go beyond the vows. So that's what Beyond the Vows is all about. It's helping you level up in all areas dealing with faith, family, fitness, and finance, right?
Sure.
And so this week, as we stated, we're kicking off a series called Addiction in Marriage, right? Now, one of the reasons that we, before I forget, what we're sipping on tonight is our Japanese plum. Something light, nothing heavy. Just, something to just wind down, spend some time together after the show tonight. So hopefully you and your boo thing, y'all are making this, a weekly thing. You guys tune into Beyond the Vows. You sit there, have your favorite beverage, whether it's water to whatever, whether it's some tea or something or whatever you guys like. But definitely after the show, take some time to still let things sink in. Have those conversations because you guys know we have our segment, Let's Talk About It, where we dig into those ace metaphor debate questions. So that's what we do, guys. After the show, we probably go grab a bite to eat. We'll sit at the dining table and we'll just chill and just spend some of that quality time together with the rest of the family already being settled for the most part. But let's jump into this addiction in marriage. I keep messing it up. But the reason that we said that it's addiction in marriage, because so many times when there is any type of addiction, guys, the addiction comes before the marriage. The addiction takes priority before the marriage, right? So that's why the series is titled Addiction in Marriage versus Marriage and Addiction. What do you think about that? Because I know we're going to dive into deep, different types of addictions that we go through. But what do you think about this series, babe?
I mean, it's very powerful. I mean, everybody's dealing with some type of addiction. I mean, it can vary from shopping to alcohol to drug use to anything, porn, all types of addictions. You know what I'm saying? Money addictions.
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
it varies. So yeah, this is something that needs to be addressed, to be talked about, and it's very serious in a lot of marriages and relationships that people feel like are taboo. They don't want to talk about or address, but it needs to be addressed because it's a healing process. You know what I'm saying? You'd be surprised how these addictions are holding you back, holding your relationship back, causing strife between you and your spouse, where you can't communicate, can't get through things, and it's just, it's a hindrance on you personally.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? These are what I call character flaws that a lot of people have, and they need to address those and get those cleaned up, and they'll be a lot better for themselves and for their relationship, and moving forward with their spouse. So definitely need to be addressed, talked about, and it's one of those things on this show. We don't shy away from the taboo and from those things that people don't like to talk about. I love talking about stuff people don't like to talk about. They're scared. What are you scared about?
Right. Somebody got to talk
We
about
all
it.
grown here.
Very true. Very true. Now, I'm happy that you said that, babe, because some people do think talking about addictions is, it's taboo, or those are family secrets that we want to sweep under the rug. But what we found that is not only is the person who initially has the addiction, not only are they impacted, but the entire marriage is impacted. The children, like the family as a whole, is impacted when someone is addicted to something, right? And one of the things, before we even jump into, like I said, the series, this is just like a part one of the series. One of the things is that with anything, especially with addiction, that person has to be ready to, one, admit that there is a problem, and two, they have to be ready to, to get help. Right? What do you think about that? That those two things have to take place before we can even get to that healing part.
And what are those 2 points again?
2 points is, one, they have to admit that there is an addiction.
Yeah, that's kind of hard for some people to recognize that they do have an addiction, that they do have a problem. Some people are so knee deep in it and been doing it for so long. It's like nature. It's like breathing for them. They don't even have to think about it. They just do it. So those are habits that needs to be broken. You know what I'm saying? Those addictions are now become habits. That's where it's a problem, that you do this habitually. You do it every day. You can't see yourself going without it. So it's like those are things that has to be addressed, have to be talked about and worked on. And like she said, that's the first step to getting healing, going through your process of changing, is admitting and acknowledging that you do have a problem.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That you do have an addiction, that, it's held you captive. I always say your addiction is holding you captive where you are. You can't progress, you can't move, you can't go forward. You know what I'm saying? You're just stuck. So
very true. And the second thing, babe, is that the person with the addiction has to be ready to get their healing, right? To do their work so that they can, be made whole, or, break that tie with whatever they're addicted to. It's not enough for the children to be ready. It's not enough for the spouse to be ready. It's not enough for mama, dad, anybody. That person has to be ready to do their work. What do you think about that?
Yeah, you definitely have to be ready. I mean, just because your spouse wants you to change, your mama and them wants you to change, your kids want you to change, you got to want to change. It's not going to, basically, there's no change unless there's change, period.
Right.
So you have to, one, recognize you have a problem, and then two, that you need to change the problem to move on to the next phase. So yes, that is, that is part of the process.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, I just heard in the spirit that, there's somebody who's going to see this broadcast, and you've been praying for a sign. You've been praying that God shows you a sign for you to take that first step in your healing journey. So I'm telling you right now, if you can hear my voice, right? If you are watching this, whether you're watching this live or watching the replay, this is your sign. This is your sign to tell you that you can do it. This is your sign that says this time is going to be different. This is your sign to say, you know what? I can live without this thing. I am more than a conqueror through Christ. So I just want to encourage you to keep trying, to don't give up. I don't care what it looked like last time. I don't care what it looked like, 5 years ago when you tried to quit. I don't care what it looks like. And I don't care about what the naysayers say, right? Because sometimes, babe, when we have family, like I said, the family is a part of the addiction as well. And so many times it's almost like the boy who cried wolf, where you say, oh, I'm going to get help. I'm going to stop this time. I'm not going to do it anymore. And so family becomes numb to your words. Your words don't have weight anymore. But I just want to encourage you to say that you can do this, that this is the sign that you've been praying for.
Yeah.
Hallelujah. Amen. Thank you, God. Thank you, God.
What are we doing as far as like with the series, as far as addiction? So are we going to have some people on here to, we're going to have some special guests come on and talk about certain addictions they've gone through, overcome. What are the signs of addiction, how to deal with addiction. Also, the one thing a lot of people don't understand is when you're the spouse dealing with somebody that is an addict or dealing with an addiction, you have a very intricate part in the whole healing process, the whole thing. And I know it's very hard for that person, for the spouse that's dealing with another person that's, under an influence, or they're doing things, or they have an addiction,
right,
to stick around, to understand, to ignore. A lot of people want to ignore, sweep it under the rug, ignore it, act like it's going to go away, that it's something trivial, something small. They can kind of, how do you say, manage it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? We can manage the small thing, but small things end up being big things. True. And if it's a habitual thing, it's going to cause problems. So you ignore it now, you kind of sweep it under the rug. It's going to fester. It's going to mold. Like stuff sitting there, just constantly sitting out there, it's going to mold, get dirty, get stanky, and it's going to get miserable. And after a while, you're not going to be able to take it. And you're going to have to address it, and you're going to have to change it. So
that's good.
Is that what we got going on with this series, babe?
Yes, this series, guys. Oh my gosh. Again, this is just part one of the series. This is just part one. Just thank you, Gina. We clean up well, Regine. We clean up well. She said we was looking decent, y'all. But yeah, we was tore down getting off that tractor.
It was hot out there, and oh man, we was at that farm. I know we all subject on that farm with the hay out there in the cornfield. Man, let me tell you, I don't know if y'all been in a cornfield very often, but that is some weird stuff sometimes, especially at night. Can you imagine walking around in the cornfield at night?
All I'm thinking about is Children of the Corn. Yeah. And all I'm thinking about is
what's the name of that dude?
Malachi.
Yeah, she was waiting on him to pop out.
Oh my gosh. But anywho, guys, so I am just so excited because we have partnered with some amazing people, whether it's their personal testimonies and how they were able to break free from addiction, coaches and counselors who are actively helping people get through their addiction, right? And we are going to also, like Marcus said, we're gonna hear from spouses and children who have dealt with people who live with an addiction. I've personally, and why this is so personal to me is I've seen family members go through this. I've seen wives be impacted by this. I've seen husbands do this. And as a child, I was impacted by, addiction within the family, by seeing family members, do certain things. And it really impacted my psyche, seeing someone, do certain things that were a part of their addiction. And so we're going to jump into that, in a different part of the series. I don't want to give it away too much, but some of the addictions that we're going to talk about, we're going to talk about pornography, right? We're going to talk about the P word, right? We're going to talk about that because
you already said it.
I know I don't want to say it too much, but we're going to talk about those things. We're going to, have resources available if you are ready to get help. Because I definitely believe that this series is going to help break some people free from their addiction. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about drug abuse. We're going to talk about alcohol. We're going to talk about, like Marcus said, money. We're going to talk about, just being addicted to being addicted to culture. And that's one that I know that a lot of, one that's not talked about as much is being addicted to culture. So when I say being addicted to culture, what does that mean to you, babe?
Culture vulture. It's just basically, you live your life online. You basically trying to keep up with the Joneses, keep up with everything that you see, what people are doing, trying to get the likes, trying to get the attention, the views, the subs, and stuff like that. If that's what you do, you know what I'm saying? But the culture will lead you astray. It will lead you down a rabbit hole that you cannot find yourself out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Especially if you try to define yourself through other people,
Mm-hmm.
and that's not who you are, but you don't know who you are. So you try to emulate and do things that you see, that you think is cool, that you think feels good. I know I'm saying cool and we old, but you know what I'm saying? You got people out there that are old people still trying to emulate and do things that they see other people do.
Right.
Everybody does that. So, yeah, that is a problem, especially with the culture.
Culture it's a big one. We have people that are addicted to sex. We're going to talk about that, right? We're going to have people, and there's different, that breaks down into different subcategories. So I hope that you guys are ready for this series, because thank you, Deandra. We are going to go super deep, because if we stay shallow, if the kingdom of God, if God's servants, if we continue to stay silent and we don't want to talk about those taboo topics, then we're going to constantly see so many kingdom people still be bound by these addictions. And I want to see some people freed. I want to see some people get help. I want to see somebody be able to break through and be able to have a holiday season like they've never had before. Be able to go into this new year in 2022 like they've never done before, leaving that addiction behind in 2021. Another addiction that we're going to talk about is being addicted to this thing right here, guys.
What that is.
OMG. This thing right here has ended so many relationships. This best friend, this is your best friend, this is your woman, this is your man, this is your God, this is your everything. This is an addiction, and we're going to talk about it, right? Because I know we didn't have interesting conversations just over this thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just over this thing that you can hold in your hand, something that is tangible, and we risk the love of our family and in support of our family, which is intangible. Like, you can't measure a person's love for you. You can't measure, your family and stuff like that. But we risk it all just for this bad boy right here. And so we're going to talk about it. What you think about this being addicted to your phone?
Man, bro, that's more than addiction. Like I said, people do it so much, it's subconscious, they don't even know. This is one that's very hard to break with the cell phones. I mean, that's like glued to your hand. You can't do anything without your phone these days. I mean, it's just kind of how it's set up. You live your life through your phone. So, that is an addiction that people have an issue breaking from. That is something you're going to need to go some counseling on that one.
And we're going to have some resources for y'all. We're going to have some great resources.
You know what? So let me go ahead and get this shebang going. I know you like, what did she have to do? So I'm going to go ahead and get this thing started. One thing about the Booties, one thing about the show, we're not afraid to talk about the things that people don't want to talk about and address some things that we have personally gone through, some addictions that we have dealt with. And like she said, she experienced something growing up, you know what I'm saying, that was in her household or that she saw in other people's household or people in her community that she saw. I necessarily didn't have that growing up. I was in a house that was pretty normal, pretty cool. We didn't have any addictions as far as drugs, drinking, or anything like that. But my addiction came from me. A lot of people's addiction is not necessarily something that they saw from somebody. It's something they acquired through life and what they went through.
Right.
And I started. You know what I'm saying? I'm a man. I'm talking to my fellas out here. You know what I'm saying? I started very young. I remember it was around 11 years old. I was over at my grandma's house. And this is when my addiction started. And I'm basically talking about the B word. Like my mom, like she just addressed, she's talking about pornography. It's like when you are, well, no, I'm going to take it back even further. Because do you know how you'll be at school and you have some of your partners and it starts something very small and very trivial, but it progresses over time. So I'm a little kid. I got my group of friends, and they bring, and excuse me for saying this, they bring the nudie mag to school. They bring the
Nudie
Playboy,
mag.
they bring the Penthouse, and things like that to school. And they were passing around, and I'm looking at it, and this is my first experience dealing with the female body like that. I've never seen this. This is probably, I had to be in 6th or 7th grade at this time. So I'm looking at this, I see them with it. I didn't actually see it. They were, this is during recess, when we out at the field, we way off playing football, but you see a group of boys huddle around, it ain't good, especially if they ain't playing football. It ain't good. So we had this little huddle. I see the boys over there. I'm looking, I'm trying to see what they got on. I see they got a magazine, they're going through it. So they were passing around. And so I got my hands on it. And the one of my partners that had it, he was like, hey, you can hold on to it, take it home, and bring it back tomorrow. So that's what I did. I took the magazine, I took it home, you know what I'm saying? Now, mind you, I got one of them mamas that lay hands. She'll pray for you, and she'll slap the out of you, too. It's one of those, you got to watch yourself,
tread lightly,
be seen and not heard with my mom. So she's one of those, like them heavy hand mamas. Oh my gosh, I'm still having flashbacks. Whew. Anyway,
he literally has flashbacks. So when his mom,
I took a chance, took this magazine, and I'll never forget. I was sitting there in my room, crazy, sitting on my bed with the magazine. I had my door shut, wasn't locked, by the way, looking at the magazine, and I heard my mama coming down. She was like getting in my door, and she saw me like. Quick move, put the magazine underneath my bed. And I'm sitting there like just chilling, acting like I'm doing something. She's like, what are you doing? I was like, nothing. She's like, what is that you doing in your bed? I was like, nothing. It's a magazine. She's like, what kind of magazine? She said, let me see it. I was like, man, this is so embarrassing. I was like, so I gave her the magazine. So she took the magazine and she went in there and told my dad at the time. She just left me in the room. I was shocked. She took the magazine. I guess she was shocked that I had it, but she knew that time was coming because they didn't have the talk with me yet.
Hold on, babe. Pause there. Because this is getting. I'm so happy that you're being transparent and sharing. But I want to just talk to the parents really quick. That we as parents, we can't be naive to the addictions that our kids are being introduced to. We can't. I don't care how tight you keep the fort. I don't care how strict you are. I'm like the fort, your house, guys. Like how you don't let you. But we as parents, we cannot be naive to think that our kids are not introduced to the opposite sex. They're not introduced to the anatomy of, a person.
For sure.
They're not introduced to, drugs and alcohol. We just can't be naive to think that, teenagers are not going to drink when they're at parties and stuff like that. It's like if we have that mindset as parents, we are doing the injustice to ourselves. We're setting horrible expectations for ourselves, and we're setting our kids up for failure by acting as if they are clueless to the world around them, when in reality they're not. They're totally not. So we as parents, we gotta stop thinking that our kids are these golden children. Because I know everybody think that they baby's perfect. Everybody think they baby's not going right. Can't do no wrong. Their babies are not going to lie to them. They're going to always be truthful with them. And guys, at the end of the day, that's just not true.
I know.
It's like we have sin nature. We were born with sin nature. I don't care how you want to believe it or not. We look at Riley. How old is Riley? 11 months. Tell him what Riley does. Like, she knows when she's doing something that she's not supposed to do. Oh, yeah. She's going to do it. Sure. What does she do? What's one of the things she does?
I mean, if she's doing something, well, like if I have her on the floor and she's playing around or something, and she goes over and she grabs something that I know she's not supposed to have.
Like in his snack bucket.
And I'm like, Riley, leave that alone. And she looks at me and she continues to mess with it, and she sees me getting up to go get it, she'll put it down real quick and start crawling off real quick like she ain't doing nothing. I was like, man, this joke is here, bro. Like, if she hear me, if she sees me getting up, then she start running away already, and she's not even 1 year old.
Right, kids know, guys. So before Marcus continues his story, I just wanted to, interject and just say, we as parents, we got to know that our kids are gonna do some stuff. They
come out the womb like this, guys. You already know. You know how you were as a child.
Right. Now, I'm not saying we got no Macaulay Culkin on The Good Son. Wasn't that movie The Good Son when he was? Yeah. That baby was touched.
That man was a murderer.
I'm not saying our children are evil in that sense. I'm just saying our kids are going to do things. They're going to go against the grain. I don't care how much we pray over them, how much Jesus we pump into them, how much oil we pour on them. Our kids are going to explore, right? Sure. They're going to do some things. Just like Marcus is like, yeah, I know my mama. I know who my mama is, and I know what she's capable of. But I'm going to take this chance and take this magazine into my mama's house. So we have Marcus is sitting on the bed, y'all. So Marcus is at the point of the story. Group of boys was at school, y'all.
But it's like one of them sitcoms. It's like one of the. It was like one of these TV shows you see with the kids, like Wonder Years or something. They got the boys got the magazine. Like, you gonna take it home? You gonna take it home? Like, oh no, I'm gonna take it home. Like, Marcus, I'm gonna bring it back. I want to see. So I got it. I'm at home. I'm in my room. You know what I'm saying? I think I got the door shut. It ain't even locked. Mama comes straight to the door. I chunk the magazine. She grabbed the magazine. She take it out. She leave me in there. And I'm like, oh, Lord, she fits to go up one side of me and down the other. So she went in there and talked to my dad, apparently. And then they came back and they were like, you know what I'm saying? It shocked me because they weren't mad. They weren't like going off. They were like, you know what? We kind of expect this was going to happen. You know what I'm saying? We never had this talk of, with you. And the crazy part,
how old were you again?
I don't know. I had to be in the 6th grade, 7th. So I'm talking about 12, 13, something like that.
Wow.
The crazy part was they were like, we'll give you 5 minutes with the magazine. Then we're taking it back. Because basically what they were trying to say, go ahead. Basically in their mind, they were like, go ahead and get it out of your system. Look at this. Get it out your system and be done with it. And I was like, I was just sitting there with my mouth open.
Hold on. They gave you 5 minutes with the nudie magazine?
She was like, you can look at it, but get it out of your system. I know it was weird. It caught me off guard. She probably gonna be like, I said that. Like, you did. Because you be like, you look at it, because they basically were trying to say, you're gonna look at it anyway. So it's like, it's kind of like one of them parents, if you're gonna smoke weed, you might as well smoke it in my house. Which I'm like, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather you get high here than be high outside in them streets. So basically, she was like, go and get your little 5 minutes looking at the raunchy and then get rid of this. So, make a long story short, she gave me a magazine and she's like, I never want to see it again. I never want to do this. Otherwise, it's going to be a problem. So, and then after that, I was like, I didn't even want to.
She gave me the magazine back to take back to school to the boys?
No. I got the magazine. It was weird. So it was kind of like one of those, she used reverse psychology. So they left and I had the magazine. I'm like, I didn't even want to look at it.
That's all like, did you hurry up and like flip through the pages? Like,
I probably looked at it and I was like, nah. And then I think I got rid of it's kind of fuzzy, but I do remember her saying, look, you got some time with it. Look at it. And I never want to see it again. And then, like I said, not too long after it, I think I took the magazine back.
Okay, hold on. I know we got to go to break, so save that.
What I'm saying was, because she went through my room, she made sure I didn't have no stuff out of that.
Hold on. We got to go to a quick commercial break, but I can't wait to come back to see the shakedown of Marcus's room, to see if he had any other paraphernalia in that category, and to see if his parents had that talk with him about what he was doing, or, how this was the beginning of an addiction. We'll be right back.
Life is better when you are living on purpose, but many times we get stuck in the rat race and in the mundane task of our day-to-day lives, causing most to lose sight of their purpose. That's why certified life coach, inner healer, and business strategist LaFlower Bowie is here to help you get calibrated to your calling through proven systems, techniques, and resources. Order a copy of her book, Principles to Reposition, to assist you with your journey, or schedule a free clarity session to kickstart the journey. After these sessions, clients have stated they found clarity and opened their eyes to things they had long forgotten. So get social and follow LaFlower on all social media platforms at LaFlower Bowie. And don't forget to mention Stunner Radio sent you.
Welcome back, guys, to Beyond the Vowz. We chilling, and we are talking about our part one of our new series, which is addiction in marriage. So Marcus was just being transparent. Y'all know how we are. Being transparent and kicking off our series with the testimony of his own of where one of his addictions started. So, guys, Marcus has just told us this crazy story about him in elementary school, or young in his grade school years. He took this magazine home with some pictures in there, a nudie mag as he calls it. His mama finds it, gives him 5 minutes with the magazine. So, what happened after the magazine is gone? So you say she came in your room and she like did a shakedown of your room?
Well, no. See, I think what happened, now that I think about it, she gave me the magazine back to look at. Then she confiscated the magazine, and I think she trashed it, got rid of it, because she was like, she didn't want that in her house. She didn't want me with it, and I think eventually she did shake down my room to make sure I didn't have anything, because my mama did not play at all. So, no, I didn't have anything else in there. I was one of those kids at that time. I was pretty green. I was pretty sheltered at that time and hadn't experienced anything like that. That was my first experience, honestly, guys, dealing with the opposite sex or seeing her body, the female body like that. So I was just kind of like, I was just curious. That's all. It starts with curiosity. That's all it is. So fast forward. They did have that talk with me not too long afterwards about sex. And then, of course, when you're in sixth grade, you start having sex education. They talk about the reproduction system of both the male and female and all that kind of stuff, which piques more curiosity. Then you're going through hormonal things at that time, and you start liking the opposite sex and looking at them different. So this is all stuff that's just naturally in us to be, I hate to say it, sexual beings early. So it started then. Then it's kind of progressed since then. Let me see.
Well, when did you realize that, hey, this is like, I'm looking at this too much, like, or this is a lot? Or did you think that it was normal for you being a young man?
I thought it was normal to be a young man, that most men, because most of the boys I talked to, some of my homeboys, that's what they did. At that age, it wasn't so much, when you're early, it wasn't so much pornography. It was more or less, I'm going to be honest with you, and she could probably say this too. This is where I got my fix, was the late at night, staying up, looking at BT Uncut. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Man. And I know some of y'all.
Did you say BT Uncut? You took it all the way back to the 90s.
Yes. That's where you get your little, your little peeping game on. You staying up, making sure everybody's asleep, then you creeping there and try to watch something. So yes. When you're addicted to something, when you realize that you like something, it starts with curiosity, then it goes to, okay, I really like this, to I need it, and then it's like I gotta have it,
right.
And then it's like I gotta have it all the time. Like this is what I need. I need
right.
this. This is it right here. So yeah, it was a steady progression to.
So I want to know, before we jump into our next segment of the show, which is our relationship topics. At what age, or what do you recall an instance where you like, man, this is a lot? Was it because you were in a relationship with someone later on?
Yeah, I mean, it's come up in some of my relationships. Yeah, it did come up because, and there's a lot of, pornography in relationships, whether you know it or not. There's some men and even women that are addicted to. They're watching in their leisure. They're doing it, and you may not even be aware of it. I was one of those people that was doing it. Whether or not that, and I'm gonna be transparent, I was being intimate, I was with my spouse, I still found the need that I needed to do it, view it, and use it. It was kind of like it was kind of being greedy with it. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. It was just like I said, an addiction is like it's just overkill with it. It's an abundance, and like
well, when did you? My next question. Didn't mean to cut you off, but when did you be like? When
are you saying? When did I know that I was like?
Yeah, this is a lot.
Too far.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, when somebody told me, basically it was interfering with our relationship, that they felt and they knew that something else had my attention, that it was a problem for them. It caused a little bit of a rift in our relationship. So yeah, I had to sit back and like, damn, think about it. Like, I didn't realize it was that big of a problem, or I had that big of an issue with it, or addiction. And yeah, it was, because it was like, I'm gonna tell you, when you're addicted to something, it hold, like I said, it's a hold on you, and you don't even realize it because you've done it so much, you've used it so much, you viewed it so much,
right,
that it's part of you, and it's like nothing for you. But it takes for somebody else to look at the situation sometimes and be like, you know what? That's a problem. That's not normal. That's not something that you should do on a day-to-day basis. Like, this is something that you should do far in between times. You're doing this 3-4 times a day.
Right. Okay. 3-4 times a day.
At the peak, baby.
Oh my God.
At the peak.
So guys, again, we are talking about addiction in marriage. So we can't wait to hear Marcus continue his testimony throughout this series. So thank you for kicking us off. Can I get a fist bump?
Yeah.
I commend you.
I know some of them may be afraid out there. They hush mouth, sitting down, they don't, lips tight and stuff, knowing they got problems.
But I
got some skeletons in the closet.
I appreciate
Let's talk about it, y'all.
I appreciate you being brave and transparent, because I know that has caused, different conversations in our relationship. It's just, it's a roller coaster ride, but in marriage, especially when you go beyond the vows, you got to be able to have those courageous conversations. You got to be able to be transparent with your spouse and let them know, like, hey, I'm struggling with something. Like, hey, I have a bad relationship with X, Y, and Z, whatever your addiction is. And don't be afraid, because if that person is really there for you, then they're gonna be like, okay, we're gonna tackle this. We're gonna, like, if you're really ready to stop whatever you're doing, then that spouse should be.
I will say this though.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't want to admit their addiction, especially when it comes to pornography. And that's even for men and women, it's because they feel ashamed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's a lot of shame.
And as the other spouse, you can't shame somebody. You can't ridicule them and be like, oh, that's despicable. That's so nasty. That's vulgar. I can't believe you nasty. And look and just go off on them. You don't understand what a hold is on somebody like that. Like, this is something that is like a part of them. So It's very sensitive. It's a private thing. People keep those skeletons in the closet for a reason, because it's embarrassing. They feel ashamed about it. And for them to get to the point to express this to them, you can't shame that person. That's the worst thing you can do. You know what I'm saying? But you got to be empathetic and sympathetic to the situation.
You have to.
You know what I'm saying? Just like that person has to, with the addiction, has to be ready to admit it and talk about it. You, on the other hand, have to be ready to listen and to understand what they're going through without judgment.
That's key.
And that's the problem. A lot of people don't trust their spouse enough not to judge them. That's the issue. They don't trust their spouse not to judge them. You're going to judge me. I know you're judgy. You look judgy. You judged this other lady the other day just because she wore this, or you talk about this. And if I tell you I got a problem, you definitely going to look at me sideways and think I'm the scum of the earth. So you're going to have a lot of spouses that don't feel comfortable even like opening up to their own spouse. And that is cardinal sin number one. Why not? They're the love of your life. They're your partner. They're your life partner. This is the person that you took vows with before God. You know what I'm saying? Death do us part to the end. And you can't even trust them with your dirty secret. You can't trust them enough to tell them what's going on with you, what problem you have. That in itself is a problem.
Right. You got to be able Marriage has to be a safe place. It's like you're supposed to be each other's safe place. It's like if your spouse doesn't have your back, or if you don't have your spouse's back, it's supposed to be you guys against the world, right?
For sure.
And so, and that is no matter what type of addiction, what type of conversation your spouse wants to have with you. Don't play the blame game or the shame game when someone opens up their heart to you and expresses, because it will trigger them and cause them to go back into the shell that took them so long to come out of. It's like your shame and guilt, right? If you can't talk to your spouse about anything, then what's the point? What's the point? Why are you doing this thing called life together? Right? Why are you doing this thing called life together if you can't talk to each other?
Exactly.
It's like we should be each other's safe place. We should be guarding each other's hearts, no matter what.
But you got a lot of people that don't want to deal with reality. They have this facade that they're putting on. They're trying to look good for their friends. They're trying to look good for social media, for the neighborhood, for the PTA meetings, for their homegirls or for their homeboys. They don't want to talk about those scary things that people don't want to talk about at night, or that's in the closet. Those skeletons in the closet. So they want to be patty perfect, make sure everybody views their family and their relationship like it's perfect. When on the inside, everybody's not talking. Y'all two shits passing in the night. Y'all can't even conversate. Nothing's going on. He's over here dealing with addiction, or she's dealing with addiction. He can't talk to you. You don't want to listen to it. You're going to judge him. He knows you're going to judge him. So it's just like nothing's getting done.
Right. So. Right. It's so true, guys. So we challenge you to be open to receive whatever your partner has to share, no matter if it's something that you want to hear, and definitely is something that you don't want to hear. Because a lot of times when those conversations take place, one or the both of you are going to grow from it. Your marriage is going to grow from it. Your household is going to benefit from it. But we got to make sure that your marriage is a safe place for conversations. Right now, I know y'all don't like hearing us nag or repeat stuff or vent and stuff like that. But if I can't tell my husband, it's like, who can I talk to? Do you want me to go find somebody else to talk to? Do you want me to go confide in somebody else? And that could be in the arms of another man. And that could be in a lot. Ladies, y'all gotta listen to your men too, because sometimes we talk so much that we can't even hear them. We don't even give them a chance to talk and express themselves because we so busy talking and assuming and trying to all of that. Sometimes we just have to be open to receive whatever that person has for us.
And sometimes the best thing, guys, I know we like to, as soon as we get information from our spouse or anything, we want to talk, we want to speak on it. Sometimes the best thing to do is take a moment to reassess and just contemplate on it. Listen to what they got to say. Don't say anything, and revisit it at a later time when you have clarity. A lot of times we want to talk and explode and get all our emotions out right then, and that may not be the right time. Especially if that person is divulging their heart to you. They finally got up the courage. They finally found a place where they feel comfortable and they let you know what's going on, and you just unload on that person. That is the worst thing you can do. So my best advice and what we've learned is when we have those type of situations that, you know what I'm saying, the person is telling it, you know, like if my wife is telling me something intimate with her, and I'm just trying to dissect it. I'm trying to just like retain what I'm hearing. Instead of me rebating, instead of me going into a debate with her or talking about or addressing, you know, I was like, you know what, babe, I appreciate you sharing that with me, but I need a little time to just soak it all in, to process it, and we can address this later. And I appreciate you for telling me that. Thank you. You know, that means a lot to me, but it's just, I need some time to think about this, to get my mind ready for what's going on.
Right.
So sometimes that's the best thing, is just kind of step back from the situation. You know what I'm saying? To reassess, to see, or even for you, even if you have to go get help from somebody else, you know what I'm saying? Don't be telling everybody your business. That's not everybody's, you know, they don't need to know what's going on in your house. I'm not telling your homegirls, but I'm saying if you need professional help, you need a therapist, or you need counseling. Like, I don't even know how to help him or help her. Maybe I need to find somebody professionally to help this situation.
Right. And you just said so much, babe. But one of the key things I know for me as a woman, I had to adjust and learn how to accept needing time, you needing time, or me needing time, or accept that pause in the conversation.
Yep.
It's like, because for me, I move very quickly. Marcus knows my mind moves like super duper fast. And if I'm having a conversation, I want to get to a resolve ASAP. Right?
But problem is that when I know I could show this woman a video on YouTube, like I see something interesting. The video is 5 minutes, y'all. It ain't even long. And I'm like, babe, watch this. I'm like, watch this. And I play it. And she looking at me, okay, turn this off. I'm like, babe, you ain't even seen the good part. Like her mind is already like, I already got the gist of it, I'm done. Like, no, can you slow down? Can you process what we saw? See it to the end. So sometimes you gotta slow down. Process what you heard, what you saw, and see it to the end. Not just go ahead and pass a judgment in the middle of this thing and don't know the whole story, ain't heard the detail.
Really?
And you're passing judgment already. See it to the end, then see what the problem is.
I'm cool with watching the start, the middle, and the end, and I can get a lot of the details that I need, because a lot of that stuff in the middle is, but anywho, Lisa, you're right. We have to, especially in our communities, in all communities, we have to do a better job knowing that it's okay to get professional help. Knowing that it's okay if you're me and Marcus told you guys, we've gone through counseling individually. We've gone through counseling together in our marriage. It's okay. We've had sessions with spiritual leaders, so many different things, guys. It's okay. It's okay. But ladies, I'm challenging you to be okay with your man needing time to think. With being okay if he does not have an immediate response. That doesn't mean that he's not listening. It doesn't mean that he doesn't care. It doesn't mean that he's just like, literally tuned out. He legit just needs some time to process the conversation. That's it. And I think once I began to understand that way of my husband, and our communication got better, because I was able to go to him. I'm like, I'm just gonna go to him, lay this on his heart, because now I know the majority of the time we're gonna revisit this conversation. Like this is the conversation is gonna be like a relay race. We're gonna run one leg, then we're gonna run another. A couple days later, maybe the third leg, and then a couple days later, we may wrap this conversation up. Because when he comes back with something, guess what? He may come back with something that I didn't even think about. And then I'm like, dang, well, let me go look at this. Or let me think about this. And we'll pick this back up, right? Because what I've learned sometimes when I move so fast and I want to get to a resolve so fast, that sometimes this is just me, I leave stuff out. I don't think about all the scenarios, even though me in my great mind thinking, I think that, okay, I done ran through every scenario possible. This is the best thing for us. But my husband may come back and say, hey, babe, did you think about this? Have you looked into this? Or this is how I feel about it. And so with me learning to be okay with the pause, it really has helped me communicate and understand my husband a whole lot more.
Bro, she used to think I used to be like Google. Like she could just type in an answer and get a response right back. I'm like, I am not Google. I need a second.
We know. But guys, again, we're talking about addiction. I know we got on a tangent about, conversations and stuff like that. But I know that in this series, I'm trusting and I'm believing in God that some relationships are going to be impacted in a positive way. Some chains are going to be broken. Some marriages are going to be healed. Some people are going to be like, this is my sign. This is it moment. And so when they come to you, okay, be open and ready and willing to receive whatever they have without judgment and blame, right? Mm-hmm. Amen. All right, guys. So we're about to transition to our last segment of the show, which is Let's Talk About It. So, and let's talk about it tonight. We didn't already went through a scenario like this before, right? Let's go with this one. You want to read that one?
You suspect that your best friend's significant other is cheating, but you have no concrete proof. Do you tell your best friend why or why not? I am like.
Read it one more time. Let me just make sure that I heard it right.
You suspect that your best friend's significant other, their spouse, is cheating on them, but you don't have any concrete proof. Like you have no evidence. Do you tell your friend yes or no? I can answer that and say, I am not going to say anything because I don't have proof. I'm kind of like the courts. I'm kind of like the popo. I can't convict you. I can't condemn you. I can't judge you without any proof. That's just me. I don't have anything. I don't have no pictures. I don't have no audio. I don't have no evidence. I don't have nothing. I just assume this is an assumption.
Tell her.
Of course, yeah, she gonna run and tell that.
Gonna blow the
A
whistle.
lot of people would, but I'm saying just for me, what am I gonna tell him? Like, hey, I think your girl cheating on you, homie. And he like, nah. Like, how do you know? And I'm like, because I feel like she is. Like, I don't have no photos. I don't have nothing. So what am I gonna tell him? What am I telling my homeboy or my homegirl? Like, I have nothing.
So what if you do have evidence? Would you tell Mark?
It's just said that you don't have evidence.
I'm asking you a whole nother separate question. If you do have evidence that a man that your friend is cheating on his spouse.
Wait, no. It's saying that my friend is getting cheated on.
Yes.
He's not the one doing it.
Right.
So if I have a partner and his wife is cheating on me, and I know for sure, like I'm out somewhere and I see her.
You see her booed up at the movies with somebody.
Yeah, for sure. I'm fit to call this and tell him like, hey, dog, I hate to tell you this, man, but I saw Cheryl out there.
Cheryl?
She was out there with this dude, man, and they look pretty chummy, bro. And I know Cheryl. I've seen her brothers and her cousins and stuff. And this ain't one of them. This looks
Lord.
This is looking like a new
for sure
dude.
This ain't a. Okay, but wouldn't you? Okay, what if the script was flipped? What if somebody seen somebody that you was in a relationship cheating? They didn't have any evidence. Would you still want to know, or you just wanted them to hide it to keep it from you?
So you saying if my boo?
What if you're getting cheated on and your friend knows that you're getting cheated on, but he doesn't have evidence?
He could tell me, and I'm be like, okay, but I mean,
but you wouldn't be that friend
no
to tell him without any evidence.
I say he could tell me, but if I'm like, how do you know? Because I'm wondering, like, how do you know this? I need to know, like, what do you mean? And he's like, I really don't know. I just have this feeling, man, how she acting and blah blah blah. What you be telling me? I think she cheating. I'm just like, I don't know.
Okay. I think you hit the nail on the head for me. The thing that's messing me up on this one is it says your best friend.
Hey, best friend.
So for me, I would want to, and I have reservations and I have hesitations, guys, when it comes to this, because I have seen, people, tell people about, hey, I saw such and such cheating. Here's a picture. And she ends up spazzing out on the girl. Or she ends up not even the relationships, the relationship withstands with the man and the woman, but the relationship with the best friend breaks off because the best friend now feeling some type of way because the man was cheating and she stays with him. So that's why I'm torn, because I want to tell her, of course, I would want to know, but at the same time, sometimes history has proven that your relationship would be messed up because you're the one that's blowing the whistle, and I don't know.
Okay, that's really getting deep.
I'm getting deep because it's happened, and I'm just like.
All right, so let me ask you this.
All right, next question, y'all. That was kind of tricky.
If you find out that you went on a date with a friend of someone you're now dating, are you obligated to tell them?
Absolutely.
Why?
If I went out on a date with a friend of someone that I'm now dating, so let's say I went out on a date with one of your friends, of course I'm going to tell you,
But why do you think that?
Because at any point, if those paths cross again, you can tell when someone has had connected energy, not just intimate, y'all, but when you can tell. Like when y'all, I don't want to ever be in a situation where my husband's like, "Why are you looking at him like that?" Or "Why is he looking
I'm
at
gonna
me
say
like
this:
that?"
I ain't telling unless y'all got intimate.
Oh no,
That's
I want to know.
me.
I want to know.
If we just went for coffee and nothing else happened, then
okay. Well, how would you feel if that person came and say, I mean, your girl went out. What if he was just being super duper tacky, y'all, and you and him fell out?
And then I'd be like, we super didn't do anything.
No, but I'm like, what if he's like, yeah, me and your girl dated for a little bit a couple years ago. How would that make you feel towards your girl if she never told you?
Well, it kind of depends. If he's been around and she didn't say anything, yeah. But if we're out somewhere and this is the first time she's meeting him, and he addresses me and he's like, "Hey, I dated your girl back in the day," then I might be okay. But if she's been around this dude, and she didn't say anything, then yes. But if she's just seeing that we're friends for the first time and it kind of catches us off guard, which most people would happen,
then
I'll give her a pass. But like I said, I don't really care unless y'all were intimate. You know what I'm saying? If y'all were just like coffee, or y'all happen to be on a double date, and you just happen to be there, he's there, whatever, and then you discover this is my homeboy, then I'm not tripping on it. But if y'all been intimate and then you didn't tell me about it, and you've been around him, and then he comes to tell me, say, "Hey man, I used to be with a girl, and on top of it, I smashed," then I'm gonna be like, okay, you and I need to talk.
Right. So you're saying no if like this is like not a best friend. This is just a friend, somebody that's in your network. Y'all, it's a gathering. She finds out somehow that y'all friends. That's cool. That's the first time.
Yeah, this ain't no in the squad. This is just somebody that I know. Hell, it could be a coworker that I had, and she used to talk to him back in the day. I mean, like I said, unless they were intimate and it was a serious relationship, that's something different. But if they just went for coffee and they went on a couple of dates and they just weren't compatible, I don't care.
I got you. Now, I got a side question. This one ain't in the cards. Because for me, I take this to the point, okay, now if you're going, like when you're in a new relationship and you go through your numbers, you're going through your numbers. And I'm not going to, y'all know what kind of numbers. We all grown. You go through your numbers.
How much your body count? Just say what it is, your body count.
Go through your body count. Now, do you include people who you were in extremely long-term relationships with? You never made a home run because you may have a special connection with that person.
Yeah, but did you get the body?
That's why I said in your numbers, not necessarily your body count.
They're in your body count.
But what if you guys never got to that point? Y'all never got to third base. Maybe y'all just hung around first and second base. Y'all never got to third base, but you actually dated.
Then they're not part of the body count. What are you talking about?
You wouldn't consider them a part of the body count?
You said I'm around first base and second base?
Yeah, you never get to third base.
No, they're not part of the body count. What are you talking about?
I'm just asking.
No.
I'm just asking.
Family. Our Beyond the Foul families, people out there, first of all, this question, do you feel comfortable telling your person you're dating that you used to date one of their homeboys or homegirls? I'm just kind of curious. Y'all can comment, let me know how y'all feel. Do y'all feel like it's necessary? Are you like me? I don't want to know unless y'all being intimate. If it's just something trivial, y'all just went on a couple of days, y'all didn't even swap spit. It ain't even worth talking about. But if y'all was in something hot and heavy and all this, and y'all was, it's a booty gone.
Oh my God.
Then that's something different.
Somebody come get this guy.
So,
you a piece of work. But yes, for me, I want to know. You only want to know if they're intimate. For me, I want to know because you may have had conversations.
Women want to know, like, did you judge him? Did you hold her hand?
No, I want to know because
did you hold her purse? Because you don't even hold my purse. Did you hold her purse?
Say if you gotta tell me. No, I just want to know because I don't want you and him to be having conversations and he tells you stuff about me, or I'm having conversations with her and she tells me stuff about you, like, oh, didn't he go here? When his mama here? Don't his mama like to cook this? I'm like, how do you know this? And then I'm coming to you like, how does this woman know this about my husband or about my man?
Huh?
You would be cool with so you telling me you would be cool? Oh yeah, Flower's favorite color is black, isn't it?
Hmm?
So how would you? So you would be cool with knowing that someone knows details about your wife or about your girlfriend?
Hmm?
You get on my nerves. Lisa said, "I don't know, Lisa. I don't know. They can, but I don't know."
You got them internet sleuths. They be out there hacking accounts.
You guys
Looking at
know.
them. They be going back to when you first started your account to see them old
that
pictures.
means that if a friend in the friend group is snooping like that on the internet with his girl or with my man, then that's a whole nother problem. That goes back to that question that we talked about the other day, that there's a friend that tells you that he's attracted to your spouse.
Right? Absolutely not.
Right? Well, guys, I know we got to get ready to get up out of here. Thank you guys for tuning in to part 1 of Addiction in Marriage. I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation. I can't wait to dig down into this topic to give some great tips, resources, and that just have those conversations to help us continue this journey beyond the vows. What you got, babe, to close us out?
Absolutely. I can't wait. Stay tuned. So we're here to help you guys through your processes and help you just get better in your relationship and be happy together and have a long, fruitful relationship with each other. That's all we want.
Exactly.
So, with that being said,
you guys remember, never ever settle.
Always, my people, take it to the next level. Until next time, peace.
Good night, guys.